News.
Just into our newsroom this morning, a new candidate has announced a run for the Nebraska legislature. Nate Osdek, a registered Democrat, is running for Legislative District 6. Now, this seat is currently held by Senator Michaela Cavanaugh, who will be term limited in 2026. Osdek is a UNO master's student and attended Westside High School.
More breaking news we are following. Omaha fire crews making quick work of this overnight house fire. Authorities say this happened near 33rd and H at around midnight. Closer look at the scene here. Thankfully, no injuries to share. So far, no word about a cause, but damage is estimated to be at $62,000. Stay with First Alert 6 on air and online as we receive more information.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on First Alert 6 streaming this Tuesday morning. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley, joined by meteorologist Jarrett Lansford and senior chief meteorologist Rusty Lord. A First Alert 2 spotty storms this morning and today.
Still some ongoing at 2-3 o'clock. They started to get noisy for some of us, and now they've just kept on going here into the 7 o'clock hour. So this is what it looks like as you look to the west across the city. And there's some showers right now in the metro. No storms, but there are still some on the map to the south. 62 degrees, a little bit of a south-southeast wind at 10 miles per hour, trying to be a little pesky. But there's a little rain from Elkhorn down into Millard and the Springfield area, mostly in Sarpy County, but the south edge of Douglas will get a little bit out of this. And then you go a little farther south, Eagle to Weeping Water down to Syracuse with a thunderstorm there. This one's been the strongest, most pronounced, longest lived. It's actually producing a flood advisory here where emergency managers are reporting the road ditches are filled up and some water over a few roads, although it's pretty shallow. But be mindful of this between Weeping Water and Eagle, where storms have been sitting for the last hour and a half, and now finally dropping to the south. You can see further east, this is the round that moved through about 2 to 4 o'clock last night, and it's moving through to the east now, weakened considerably. And back behind this, there's clearing, but you can see the thunder showers moving southeast still have a little ways yet to go, and then we'll get in on some sunshine. We're in the low 60s right now, and you can see there are some 50s on the Iowa side, but overall, most of us hanging pretty close to 60 degrees. There's what's left of the storms by 8 o'clock, and even that might be a little bit overdone. By 9, most of these should be east and out of here, and I'm really skeptical of any development beyond that. By noon, we're near 70, a first alert to what's likely to be the last afternoon high in the 70s for quite a while. 75 by 3 o'clock, should get up to about 77, 78 for the high today. Ultimately, it depends on how quickly the clouds move out this morning, and that'll give us a little more opportunity to warm. By 7 o'clock, that rain's a little bit over the top here. Not quite sure why it's hanging on, but that little part of the computer model appears to be broken. By 10 o'clock, there's some clouds left over, and then overnight it should be pretty quiet. Heading into the day tomorrow, where we jump to 84 degrees. Small chance of a storm in the morning, although I'm not seeing too much out there right now, so probably shouldn't be much to worry about. But look at that, 87 on Thursday. To give you a little perspective, average high this time of year is right around 80 degrees, and today's probably the last day. That'll make it the first 9 days of September that will be below average.
Okay, and then again, as we get into the weekend, that's going to be a warm one.
Yeah, it's going to heat up in a big way, likely get up near 90 degrees for a couple of days. So this is what we're going to be tracking here over the course of the next several days. We're likely to see the heat really build in heading towards the end of the week, and then by Friday and Saturday, we'll get up near 90. And you can see how this big area of hot and humid weather likely to persist right into the middle of the country here by Saturday, and could even linger into Sunday, but some thunderstorms in the mix with that. And so there you go, the muggy air in place the next several days. Once it builds in today, that will pair up with the heat, and we're looking at a 10-day forecast that has a lot of summer left trying to hang on. 90 for Friday, 92 on Saturday. And yeah, we're going to have that Husker forecast for you here in just a little bit. It is looking hot. This is what you usually get for that first or second game. And it's like the third game of the season is going to be the hot one. And then cooling off into the 80s with some storm chances on Sunday to watch. That's probably our next best opportunity for some storms. would be Sunday after what we've had move through early this morning, but just a little bit lingering on the map in the metro. So if you're heading out and about here during the 7 o'clock hour, take the umbrella with you just in case, because a few lingering showers in the city.
And you don't want to be that person that has nothing with you.
Yep, and pretty easy to get soaked on a morning like this if you're not paying attention.
Indeed. Okay, Rusty, thank you. Meantime, I was going to update on traffic this morning. A new crash to talk about.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple of these that are popping up in the Millard area as we see some of that rain start to push in, maybe playing a bit of a role with those. So let's take a look at where we have this newest one affecting 144th. So this is right around Meadows, just to the north of I-80. You know, you're starting to get some delays that are showing up here as you're going southbound. So be aware of that. Really, in general, this area is just not moving the best, but that's where the crash report is at 144th and Meadows. So first alert to that, use some caution in that area. Not that far away, we had our prior crash that was in place. This is on Sapp Brothers Drive. That's just to the north of Highway 370. They're just off to the west of the I-80 interchange. So that's where the crash is, but you can see that traffic unrelated to the crash is pretty slow as you're going westbound on 370 approaching I-80. It's a combination of factors of just how busy the traffic is and the rain that's coming down. And you want to watch for some slick conditions. This is what it's looking like in that area near the 370 and I-80 interchange. You can see wet roads are in place. So use some caution, be ready for some slick conditions. Have those headlights on as you're heading through this area. And watch especially any of those curves, interchanges. That's where a lot of times we have issues when we have mornings like this, where we have the wet conditions in place. We're also seeing sizable delays as you're going westbound on I-80 into that 680 interchange. That's backed up past the interchange already. That's a little concerning to me that we may start to get some ripple effects onto southbound 680 and westbound 80 as you're maybe getting into the approach to that interchange with 680. So something we'll be keeping an eye on through the morning is how any of those remaining showers affect the commute. So far, it seems like a lot of the impacts are showing up in Millard. So we'll be keeping an eye on that, keeping you posted with all the latest on how things are looking out there.
All right, Jared, thank you very much. An emergency meeting with the Nebraska Medical Cannabis Commission. The issue at hand, Governor Jim Pillen pushing back against regulations they approved last week. Now, the governor sent a letter saying he wanted the commission to put a limit on how many plants growers could grow. The commission approved more than was suggested at 1,250 plants per grower. The rules now head back to the governor to try and gain his approval. Supporters of medical marijuana say they are less than enthusiastic about the developments.
You are betrayers of patients and traitors to the 71% of people you swore to serve. So let me be clear. We see you, we see these games, the barriers, and the deliberate destruction of what Nebraskans voted for. We will not stop calling it out.
Well, the state needs to get the medical marijuana system up and running by October 1st. A married couple arrested in connection to a deadly stabbing at an Omaha laundromat appearing in court for the first time.
Now, Deshaun and Kayla Griffin are charged in the death of 35-year-old Jonathan Wallace. Investigators say Wallace approached the couple about a lighter last Thursday near 46th and Cumming. Well, an argument broke out and Deshaun allegedly pulled a knife out and stabbed Wallace twice. We spoke with Kayla's attorney about what they're looking towards in this case.
Well, the main thing you have to remember is if he's justified in self-defense, then she hasn't committed a crime. So at the same time, I think there's more out there that the general public doesn't know yet, and we can't go into it because of the rules. So we just look forward to our day in court and to be able to explain to people what happened.
While Deshaun is expected back in court in October, Kayla waived her right for a preliminary hearing. Bond is set at $500,000 for Kayla. Deshaun is being held on no bond.
All right, now to Maria Cade at the Safety Desk. Maria, there's a new study out there focusing on the Earth's climate.
Yeah, this study is actually showing that as the Earth continues to warm, more Americans are actually choosing to drink and eat more sugar than they were before. So researchers say hotter weather makes our bodies lose more water. So researchers saw an increase in people choosing things like sodas, juice, ice cream as the temperatures continue to warm. And scientists warn that if global warming continues on its current path, people will likely increase how much sugar they eat by nearly 3 grams a day. It might not sound like much, but that increase can contribute to heart disease, diabetes, and a slew of other health problems as well. So definitely something to consider and keep in mind.
That slow incline will add up.
Yes.
Okay, Mary Kate, thank you. We're back after this.
Welcome back, everybody. Taking a live look outside on this Tuesday morning. Look at all those clouds. That's because we've had so much rain. We had some storms. Those roads will be wet, as we've been talking about. So give yourself a little extra time and patience as you head out the door and you're on the road this morning. Meanwhile, it has been so nice, kind of on the cool side this month.
We haven't hit 80 degrees yet. Yeah, 9th, right? So it's September
Yeah.
9th, and we probably won't today. We'll get close, but not quite. So right now, this is the 4th coolest start to a September we've ever had. 1885 is the record. You can see we're at 61.9 degrees on average so far for the first 8 days of the month. Now, we are going to reverse course in a big way. We're going to drop off this list quickly by the end of the week, but that's where we're starting off. There's a little bit of rain left over, at least in the metro, from these showers this morning, extending from basically right along 144th and 156th down into Sarpy County. This thunder shower near Syracuse has been ongoing and just kind of redeveloping back here in western Cass County over the last couple of hours. Flood advisory in place here for the counties you see listed, and you can see we'll clear that off, and you'll notice between Weeping Water, Eagle, Elmwood, reports of road ditches that are very full of water as some heavy rain has fallen. And down to the southeast is where a lot of this is moving. So still some rain ongoing on the Iowa side for the next couple of hours, but it looks like the Nebraska side is just about done with this as the last little shower is moving east. And look what's back here to the west. This is going to be some clearing. It'll get a chance to warm up. There might be a little bit of a south breeze here this morning, and then into the evening hours and overnight, it'll back off. There's not too much to worry about with the wind today. I know it was pesky yesterday. Not a concern today. First alert forecast takes us from the 60s into the 70s, about 77 or so for the afternoon high. Ultimately, it all hinges on how quickly the clouds move out this morning as to how much we can rebound into the afternoon. But 77 for the high today, 84 then on Wednesday, 87 by Thursday, and you'll notice near 90 by Friday and Saturday. So some heat building, and I mentioned we're going to reverse course on that coolest start to September. that's how you do it. Just going to the other end of the spectrum here.
Yeah. So is that heat going to persist, though, or is this just a blip?
It looks like the 90s probably end by Saturday, but we still have some 80s beyond that, and that would be above average. Average high this time of year is right around 80 degrees, and every number you see in the 10 days above that. There's some thunderstorms to watch for on Sunday as well. But let's talk a little bit more about Saturday. If you have tickets to the game, I tell you what, that's looking like a hot one. 80s, warming through the 80s during the game in Lincoln, right near 90 by the end of it, and could feel like 95 or so. About the only thing to save you would be that southwest wind gusting to 30 miles per hour, and we're going to build in some humidity with this as well. The muggy meter, once we get up into the muggy range today and tomorrow, it stays there over the course of the next week or so. So keep that in mind. I know we were talking about alcohol and concession sales. This past week, we'll see what 85, 90 degrees does to those numbers.
I think,
They're going to go up. All right, let's get an update on traffic. Some roads wetter than others, looks like.
It's kind of been patchy with where we've been seeing the showers, the storms. So that's impacting where we're seeing more of the impacts with the wet roads. So take a look at the top left corner, and that is where we've got wet roads. That is right around the 144th and I-80 interchange. A lot of brake lights showing up in that area. I don't know if that's just a factor of everyone trying to merge at the same spots and using extra caution in here, but likely going to be some pretty hefty delays as you're heading eastbound through that area. So keep that in mind. But if you're driving elsewhere, say around 90th and Dodge, you've got dry roads that are in place. So it's going to be less of a concern for you if you're in those areas. So playing a role in how the commute goes and where we're seeing some of our issues, where we've had a little bit more rain. You can see the slowdowns as a result of this crash, 144th and Meadows, as you're going southbound on 144th. That's where we're looking at our issues. There's the delays that I was just mentioning on eastbound I-80 as well. Another area I'm going to be watching, not necessarily tied to the rain, but with the construction that we were first alerting you to yesterday that would close 72nd, that's still closed between J and F this morning and will be until about 5 p.m. this evening. So with that being the case, let me clear this off here and you can get a better idea. When you look at 60th, you can see a minor delay showing up northbound. 84th, the other alternate route option, is slowing down a fair bit as you're approaching F Street and heading toward I-80. So be ready for some delays on both of those roads. I think we'll really see that pick up here over the next hour or so. Aside from that, JFK is slow as you're approaching I-80. You do have some delays in some of the traditional spots. Dodge as you're going eastbound around 168th, and we pick up the traffic there. And 370 as you're going westbound right around 48th. Also starting to see some delays that are showing up. So use some caution. You're driving in some of those areas where we have the wet roads. We've seen the rain, Gretna into Millard. You're going to want to use a little extra caution this morning to avoid any of those slick spots that could potentially cause us some problems.
All right, Jared, thank you. Well, repair work is set to begin at a long-lasting problem downtown. It's been 9 months since that sinkhole opened up in an alley near 16th and Farnham.
It showed up after a garbage truck broke through the pavement, leaving the alley inaccessible from the east side. As work gets underway, business owners in the area say they're frustrated with the chaos caused by the amount of construction downtown. City crews expect 17th between Farnham and Harney to close for about 3 to 4 weeks. Repairs are expected to last throughout the end of the year.
Well, happening today, a big push in Nebraska for blood donations. The Nebraska Community Blood Bank is teaming up with Nebraska Medicine in honor of Sickle Cell Awareness Month. The blood drive is from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Nebraska Medicine's Stores Pavilion.
All right, still ahead, a closer look at the impressive feat of one 9-year-old boy.
Yeah, more on what he achieved when we come back.
Well, imagine walking into your college classroom and you see a 9-year-old sitting next to you.
Okay, so to your surprise, they're actually a classmate. Well, that is a reality for many at Ursinus College, located in Collegeville, Pennsylvania. Aiden Wilkins just started his freshman year. 3 years ago, he passed the gifted test administered by his high school. Oh, look how, and he's cute. Now he's on his way to make his dream come true as a pediatric neurosurgeon. Wow. You guys, he's 9.
What are we doing?
Aiden is the youngest student in history at Ursinus. Can you imagine?
You know, it's funny, when I took my SAT, one of the times I took it, there was about like a 10-year-old boy in our classroom taking the SAT, and he was one of kind of these who went to college very early, a child prodigy, and all of us were like, we need to step up our game.
Yeah. Probably did better than us than his ACTs.
Neuroscience, and he's blowing my brain right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, radio host Howard Stern played a prank on listeners.
Got us. Several media outlets picked it up as an actual news story. I mean, NBC did, CNN did, everybody did. When listeners tuned in, instead of hearing Stern, it was Bravo host Andy Cohen hosting the show. People thought he was going to be the replacement. Cohen said he was taking over Stern's SiriusXM channel, but about 20 minutes in, Stern came back on air, said the whole thing was just a joke.
It wasn't even April Fool's.
No.
He did it.
He just did it to be
on a September day.
Wow.
Now we're talking about Howard Stern.
Yes.
And let's see if there was a little rating spike with that.
There was definitely a big media boost.
So now if he ever leaves, no one's going to believe him again.
That's a great point.
Yeah, smart on his part,
Got
right?
us.
He had everybody
He did it.
talking about him. Yeah, mission accomplished. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch it here on streaming or over our air.
All right, have a great start to your Tuesday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Well, good Tuesday morning to you. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Aaron Hartley. First alert to a brand new crash this morning. We'll get a check in with Jarrett.
Yeah, this one just came in. So first alert for drivers around 36th and Capehart. That's where we have this crash. And you can see how things are being slowed as you're making your way toward that intersection. That's just one of several crashes that we've seen here in the early going. Let's head further to the west, and you're still seeing delays showing up due to this earlier crash on 144th near Meadows. Southbound traffic really being impacted. Also some delays on Giles as you're moving eastbound on Giles toward 144th, and I-80 showing big delays eastbound as you're heading toward that construction zone around Giles. Rusty.
Thanks, Jarrett. And last of the thunder showers now exiting the Nebraska side. Still a little time yet for these on the Iowa side, but even a large number of these are just about to exit our Iowa counties. You can see down to the south, there's been a thunder shower drifting south through the Elmwood, Weeping Water, and Eagle area. Flip over to the radar estimated rainfall. It shows radar estimates of about 2 to 2.5 inches in the yellow there. Had a report come in from Elmwood of 3.5 inches. So that one storm just kind of sat there and produced a lot of rain in a small area. Just a few light showers from Bennington down through Millard and 680 and 80 interchange down into the Papillion area. That's about all that's left in the metro. We're low 60s right now, and then we just wait for the clouds to clear. They're going to gradually do that this morning. We'll climb to 77 for the high today. This will be the coolest day we have for quite some time. Aaron?
Breaking news we have been following this morning. Omaha fire crews making quick work of this overnight house fire. This happened near 33rd and H at around midnight. A closer look at the scene here. Thankfully, no injuries to report. Damages, though, estimated to be at $62,000. No word yet about a cause.
It is 7:28, and we're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.